5. Ignition.
Explain the unexplained.
We smell like caffeine.
Close your eyes.
Where we boldly ask, do vegetarians eat animal crackers?
What?
I need more space. Caffeine will not make you shut up.
Breathing the air.
Because the llamas told me to do it.
Save the planet.
The second pick of the 2014 NFL Draft. The Cleveland Browns select Johnny Manziel.
This song will automatically shut down the system.
Hey, could we please get a courtesy flush?
Let's get this over with.
Warning! The following sound may damage your speakers.
Hello, Ghost fans, hunters, and skeptics. Welcome to the Skeptic Sanctum. Today is Thursday, March 16th, 2017, and it is also Everything You Do Is Right Day. This day is the counter to the March 15th holiday, which is Everything You Think Is Wrong Day. Today is the day that your ideas are good ideas. That's all ideas, and you should work on them or whatever. To be honest, this holiday is sort of like it's just a bad idea in general because, you tell somebody, yeah, everything you do is right, yeah, go get them. And then they go and knock back a few beers and they get in their pickup truck and then they go and plow into like a school full of children and then they keep going through and through the orphanage and then through the senior center. And, that's just like a disaster. Anyways, I am your, as long as I keep talking, I'm good host, Raven, and usually with me is Tom, but he's kind of injured and a little ashamed because he still has on his, cone of shame because he decided he was going to hurt his arm in a bear wrestling match. So until that's all better, we're not going to see his beautiful shining face if you can make it out through all the scars. Fighting bears. Anyways, we have a great show planned for you tonight, as we do every show. But before we get into the gist of it, I do know we have some new listeners in, so I just want to do a quick format of the show. And not only that, but all this talking actually gives time for people that haven't tuned in yet to tune in. But, one thing is, we're not your normal live paranormal podcast show. It is our goal at the Skeptic Sanctum to take you, the paranormal fans, the ghost hunters, the supernatural skeptics, and others on a humorous yet informational ride through the paranormal genre. We are 25% facts, 25% fun, 25% orange soda, and 25% stuff we make up as we go along. And since adult humans make about 27 judgments, choices each day, not sure how many of those are right or wrong, but today they're all good. We at the Skeptic Sanctum always give you, the ghost fans, supernatural skeptics, paranormal pundits, ectoplasm collectors, and whomever else, 127% of pure paranormal education, entertainment, and fun. Now, before we start the show, I do have 4 really cute things to show, as I hosted a pet photo contest 2 weeks ago, and the voting finally was finally concluded, and today is the day I promised everybody that I would show their pet photos online. And so I have them here, and I'm going to start out with the first one, and this was the most chill. This is Charlie. He is owned by Light, and you can actually find, because Light has, a really, really nice camera. This is a camera that the unpaid intern Phoenix, who isn't hanging out with us right now, this is a camera that she would like, and she knows the name of it. I think she should be in chat, so if she's in the live chat, she might be able to say the name of the camera she wants. But you can find other nice pictures and artworks that Light has made at alpha42.deviantart.com. That is alphafourtow.deviantart.com. The next winner was the winner of the I'm Ready for My Close-Up, and that is Amber. She is a QH, I don't know what the heck a QHX mare is, but she's owned by Whisper. Whisper actually owns several horses and rides them. She actually owns a really cute pony who did not win, and that was my favorite to win. But you can find Whisper. Oh man, I'm really bad. I forget what kind of artwork she does, but you can find their art at whisper.deviant.com. That is w-hw-i-s-p-a.deviantart.com. The next winner is Lilo for the most softest, and they're owned by Amy Mist, and you can find artwork that Amy Mist does at amy/mist, that's mist, .deviantart.com. And then lastly, these are actually, I believe, all the way from, they're not on this side of the country. I mean, this side of the planet. I believe she is over, not in the Philippines, but she's quite on the other side of the globe from us here. And she has a few of these kittens left up for adoption, but she won the most expressive with what she affectionately nicknamed the Jelly Beans. And you can find her at fierytikita.deviantart.com. That is fireYtika.deviantart.com. And congratulations to everybody who won the pet photo contest. And there were so many cute pictures, and I wanted everybody to win because I really love animals. But well, yeah, not all animals can be winners. Anyways, now for our guest. Starting back in 2014, our two guests founded their team through the love for the love of the paranormal and the love for helping others. Just like us here at the Skeptic Sanctum, they seek to educate others as well as work with other paranormal groups. They create weekly videos about the paranormal, about the paranormal over a large variety of topics. So I would like to welcome to the show tonight Marcus and Vic from One Candle Society. Hey guys, how are we doing?
Hey, we're doing pretty well.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. And really happy to have you guys here today. And I don't know if just so the listeners know, you guys are super secret. And so so that's why you just get the cool little picture, and we're not going to get to see who the mysterious men behind the voices are.
We cherish our privacy.
We do. We have not gone public yet on who we actually are. We like to leave a little mystery, little paranormalness to our identities.
Hey, that works out. So it's a two-man team. You guys had sent me in some information. You guys met in college a long time ago, and that's really awesome. But before we get into both of you guys together, I just want to know a little about each of you individually. So so then this way also too, the listeners will also get used to your guys' voices. So Marcus, who are you? Because your name starts with M, so that's why we're going with you first.
Yes, I win because of alphabet. Yes, my name is Marcus D. I was born in Evansville, Indiana, but I actually grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I came down to Evansville to go to college, and that is where I met Vic. And that was kind of the start of our friendship, and kind of we grew from there. I work a lot in the social work and mental health field, and and that's kind of a lot of where my professional background comes, and it really influences how I approach into investigating the paranormal.
Well, I'm just a guy from a small town around the Muscatatuck River. I grew up way out in the sticks. Like, it was hard for me to generally even explain to people where I'm from. Beyond that, around my teenage years, I became very interested in anything that was just kind of off or strange. Fortunately, the isolated area where I grew up was rich with folklore, and that gave me a really good start-off point. Around college, I met this knucklehead, and, well, several years back, we started up the One Candle Society, and oddly enough, there's actually more members to us than just the two of us, but we're the two that do the, YouTube channel and stuff like that.
So is everybody else in the team as anonymous as you guys?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We all generally use pen names to protect our privacy when we do this. But we're the big two we're the only two that do the YouTube side. We have more members that help us when we go out actually into the field to do our own paranormal investigations.
Oh, that's actually really cool. Like, why did you guys pick the name One Candle Society?
Because it sounds cool.
Well, we wanted something that kind of expressed our view on the paranormal world, and we kind of liked the metaphor of the one candle burning on its own, illuminating the night.
Oh, that sounds poetic. All right. So, what got you guys started doing this? Was it like, were you guys, because you guys were, college buddies, were like, completely stoned out of your mind one night, and you're like, man, it's really cool. Ghosts. Yeah, man, ghosts are cool.
Marcus has a good story about me recruiting him into the group.
Yeah, so one day I'm sitting in the room with Vic and Adam Mathers, who's probably just as important we are when we do the paranormal investigations out in the field. And they're talking, and they go, "Oh, yeah, Marcus, when we thought it was, we really like that you like this idea for us to start a paranormal group." And I'm like, I don't remember this conversation. Like, I thought that maybe like they were just talking about it, and I was just in my own world, just doing my thing. Oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea. It's just not paying any mind. And that's how I joined a paranormal group. That's how I officially joined the paranormal investigation part.
Well, I think we actually talked to him at one time about joining, but I'm guessing he wasn't paying any attention, just nodded as a response. And then, like 4 months later, we're like, "Oh, okay, we're actually ready to do this." He's like, "What?"
Yeah. We really wanted to like try to like we've all had like real strong interest in the paranormal, like from various different backgrounds and our own personal experiences, and we wanted to come together to bring those together in order to try to take an approach to studying the paranormal.
Yeah, and there is a lot to study about the paranormal. And I'm just, this from my experience, and it's actually, with, groups are really good. And, like, a large group is really good, especially if everybody sort of has, like, a similar, like, a format about, okay, it shows this signs, this signs, this signs, so it's paranormal.
We have a lot of people with a lot of different views, but we have, like, a very strict sort of documentation sort of format and things like that, so the good thing is we can bring in a lot of people with different perspectives, but we all have one formulaic sort of way of documenting and responding to a situation.
Yeah, there's a lot of dangers if someone tries to go out and tries to investigate the paranormal by themselves, and as a group, you can avoid a lot of those pitfalls.
Yeah. But a large group can also get you caught if you go to somewhere where you're trespassing.
That's true.
That's
Like
true
a
too.
double-edged sword. Not that I support trespassing for paranormal research.
No, and that's actually a pitfall that most people, even when they go out by themselves, sometimes they don't know is where you legally can and can't go.
Yeah. Well, figures most places are either government or private property. There's no free man's land left in the United States. So, I mean, if there's a building, 9 times out of 10, if you didn't pay to go in there, or you weren't invited, you're trespassing.
We've actually had a fair amount of luck just calling up the local cops and being, hey, we want to check out this place. Is there any issues we're going to run into? And they're usually like, nah, it's fine. Thanks for letting us know ahead of time so we don't, come out there and try to bust you.
And I think actually, in a lot of our videos that we've done, I think the vast majority of our the places that we've talked about are either privately owned, owned by the government you can't go to, or so inhospitable you can't get to them.
Yeah. We've got a few places like that because we're located up here in Cleveland, and there's places that you want to go to, but they're really deteriorated and it's not safe to go investigate them. Or, it's like the complete opposite of that. They're they're owned by a company or the government, and they're like, yeah, we don't want you freaks in here.
Yeah. Not as unfortunately, there's not as a welcoming feeling to many people who are into the paranormal. To those that are not into the paranormal, it's just there's a lot of stigma when you're involved in this kind of.
Yeah, and that is true. Now, but despite all the stigma, and this is funny because I was like, I'm gonna say you guys are actually both like considered skeptics, right?
Yeah, we're definitely not into sensationalism. I am far more skeptical than Vic is.
I definitely lean to the believer side a little more, but I'd say I keep reasonably within the realm of the skeptic.
Yeah, I'm way far more skeptical than Vic is on those things. I've done a few eye rolls, not gonna lie.
I was like, yeah, so then then you guys can this way you guys can easily pretend that you're not into the paranormal.
That's true. Yeah. Where we both hail from the social work field, so a lot of times we do have to keep that aspect of our lives a little secret for the purpose of professionalism.
You'll hear it all the time. Oh, they're seeing shadow people. Yeah, they're crazy. Oh, they're seeing demons. Yeah, they're crazy.
Let me go get my camera.
They're having a religious experience. They're crazy. There's a lot of negativity that's actually spoken behind closed doors. Most people, that's even more out in public.
Yeah. And so actually, speaking of that, you guys mentioned shadow people. I went through and I watched every single video on your guys' channel. And listeners, those of you that don't know, Marcus and Vic here, they have a YouTube channel and they do a lot of informational videos. If you go to youtube.com/onecandlesociety, all one word, no hyphens, no underscores, and that'll pop you right to their channel. And they do a really large variety of topics on their videos, and I'm actually going to discuss a few of the topics that they had mentioned or they did videos on that interest me, and they seem to have a lot of fun talking about. And so, if you guys don't mind, I'll go ahead and jump right into that.
You go right ahead.
Yeah, we are totally ready.
All right, awesome. Yeah, because your guys' first video was about shadow people, and
about that, we're not ready for that one.
Oh, you're not ready for that one. Okay, well,
we're playing. We're just playing.
I was like, I'll give it some preamble, and then you've got 2 minutes to get yourselves ready. So there's gonna be a little bit of preamble because shadow people actually, we've had our own experiences here at the Skeptic Sanctum. My mother and father, Tom and Becky. And thank goodness Tom actually isn't here because he hates telling the story, because for a time we were telling it every week, and he's in his little I'm a sick man chair. He's cringing and throwing a fit. Yeah, he's throwing a fit because he just hates the story being told. So when years ago, before I was born, and this was like 80 something years ago, they lived up in Maine. And this is like Loring, Maine, which is actually like a really big, like, I mean, it's a little tiny town, but it's got a lot of urban legends about it. And it's actually, part of like Stephen King's inspirations for his stories. And they were living, I believe, on military housing. And they had like this closet that was across from the bed from them, and my mom would put linens and stuff in there. Well, she would put the linens away and then go to put something else in there and come back, and this would be 5 minutes would gone by, and either everything was on the floor or everything had been rearranged. And this went on for a very long time, and my mom was claiming that she was seeing a shadow man with a hat, a big giant like boulder kind of hat, but a lot larger, cowboy hat kind of ordeal. And my dad was like, no, you're not seeing that, you're just crazy. And, well, they're going to bed one night, and she'd left the closet door open on accident, and so, like, they're snuggling up, and my dad looks over at the closet, and the next thing my mom knows is that he's screaming and throwing the blanket up in the air and hiding underneath it, but he's just, screaming like a little girl. And, and my mom's like, what's wrong? And so, after he finally stopped screaming, he, was like, there was somebody in the closet. And, he's not giving me any weird looks, so I guess I'm telling the story right. But, they never saw the ghost again after that. Like, my dad screamed, he scared the ghost away.
Yeah, there's a whole thing about just like the Hat Man phenomena within shadow people itself.
Yeah, if you start adding clothing to them, it takes it into a whole different realm of conversation sometimes.
Right. And so, like, when people then, they're like, are the shadow people good or bad? I'm like, personally, I don't think they're good or bad. I think they're just, I think they're just kind of, like, maybe a little bit, like, of an asshole, but not a complete asshole.
Well, we've got some strong opinions when it comes to the behavior of shadow people, but
not good.
Well, one of the things is when you look into the sort of behavior you see in these entities, particularly when people report conversations with them or prolonged activity with them, they take on a very predatory sort of behavior. The sort of things we actually experience in the field of social work, where someone's intentionally trying to prey on someone, or someone's trying to set someone else up on being reliant just on them.
Yeah, and a lot of it, because in the research that we did, we found a lot of we were taking all these stories and we were trying to find some parallels to some of the stories, and a lot of ones that we found, these were people that were in either really negative situations, or the shadow people often put them into a negative situation, and or came to a negative situation that they were with other people in the area.
Yeah, often they'll set up a scenario where they'll either come in as a disguise of a guardian or a protector, trying to make someone seem like they need to be reliant on them, or they'll start causing problems within someone's household and make someone feel that the only way that they can escape these troubles is by being reliant on them or giving them something in some way.
And you can see this behavior in people too. We talked a lot about this in our documentary that we did about them, because there are studies where they profile men that are horrible abusers of domestic violence. And one of the studies that they did had these men looking through like not a two-way member. They can look into a room of women playing with their kids, and one of the women has had a real strong history of being in domestic violence relationships, and they can almost, in eerie statistics, actually pick out the woman that's actually been involved in these types of relationships before. They can sense who's had traumatic experience that they can prey upon.
You gotta realize these are people who are trained to look for the sort of people that they can force into these situations.
Yeah, and that was this parallel that we just kept seeing with shadow people. is they're around people that are in these traumatic experiences.
You're not, you guys, I mean, you guys aren't completely wrong. Like, the people that I know that have had bad experiences, there's somebody that told me, there's actually several people, who have told me in confidence experiences that they dealt with. And, they all had, some kind of, like, abusive person in their lives. And when that person wasn't there, like an abusive father or an abusive ex-boyfriend, and when that person left the picture, or they just weren't around at that time, they started having the shadow people phenomenon happening. And see, that kind of like, that coincides, but also kind of like the skeptic point arises is it possibly just their subconscious kicking in and going, well, even though you don't think they're watching you, what if they are watching you right now?
Are you talking about creating like a paranoid delusion to fill that space?
Yeah.
Well, when someone's been in an abusive scenario, one of the things a lot of people don't realize is the abuser, although they're being harmful to the person, they're also training that person to rely on them, and often only them.
Yes.
It's possible for someone to become so reliant on that sort of relationship that they could begin to imagine one in their head. But the thing is, if that was the case, we wouldn't see such shocking consistencies in things like description and pattern within the paranormal part of the phenomena.
And if you approach it from, say, like a paranormal approach, like, we believe in shadow people. When you're in a domestic violence relationship, it makes you more likely to end up in another domestic violence and another negative relationship to patterns. That's why a lot of the times, some of us, we have a lot of these either family members or friends. We're like, why do they keep dating these douchebags?
Yeah.
Well, that's because they get prone to being in those relationships, and that's why shortly after maybe they have this negative experience, this domestic violence relationship with a real person, here comes the shadow person into their life sometimes.
And now, if we want to take it into an even more bizarre area, we could even go with the possibility of they're so reliant on the idea of this person, they create a thought form given manifest by their own will.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I'm taking you guys a little off the deep end on that one.
I mean, we could dedicate the whole rest of the show to talking about shadow people.
Don't let us dominate the whole conversation with it.
Yeah, that's why it was our first video that we made. It was because there was a whole lot to talk about on them.
There is. I mean, but it's always it's a good starter because it's the one that everybody in the paranormal has an opinion on. Mm-hmm. Just like everybody has an opinion on taking photos and is that an orb or is it dust?
And also, shadow people are a very common phenomenon with other paranormal phenomenon. So when you're investigating the paranormal, you are most likely, you're going to encounter shadow people stories. They're going to be there.
Yeah. It almost seems like they like to piggyback off other phenomena.
They're always there. What if they're really just time travelers and their like cloaking mechanism sucks?
We've heard that theory before. Yeah. Like sometimes people really report an odd buzzing as they're starting to materialize, and some people have speculated that that's either a traveler trying to phase in from another dimension or someone traveling back in time, pushing into our reality. That wouldn't be the first time I've heard that theory.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it. Like, if you got to think about dimensions, like, if you've ever read Flat World, you know how, the first dimension, second dimensions, how it's philosophized the existence is on those. So, like, fourth dimension, fifth dimension, sixth dimension, our eyes wouldn't be able to see that. Maybe mantis shrimps, but not ours.
No, likely not. And even if our eyes were advanced enough to pick it up, it's unlikely our mind could fully even process what we were seeing.
Too many dimensions. Turn down off the dimensions.
Okay. So, going with like shadow people, good or bad, that actually like I'm looking at my list of topics that I took because you guys like talked about everything. And so we're going to go into, like, the next thing that's, like, possibly good or bad, but Actually it is probably kind of bad. You guys actually, and you even have a call to action about this right now. The black-eyed children.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's
From what you guys have already picked up so far, and from what I know about them, to be honest, I don't know a whole lot. I just know, from the creepypasta videos that people put up, because they're like, ooh, this is a crazy urban legend, I better get on this bandwagon before it takes off. All I know is that, they show up when somebody is at a vulnerable moment and they ask for help. And, I've actually, heard stories of, not like a telephone booth, but kind of like a late night stroll, and they're like, hey, can you come with me this way? And you're like, no kid, sorry, but you can come with me to this direction, and there's a police station, and you can go there. And the story that I heard, and this is probably a made up story, but the child would went into a rage and then would move to attack the person and then vanished. If I could find the source of that, I would gladly send it to you guys, but I don't remember where it is, and it was probably just because I have 2,000 videos on a instant play on YouTube, and it was probably just one of those, and I probably just kind of let it go.
Well, it's probably hard to. Well, sometimes it can be hard to find those sources because in black-eyed children's stories, whenever it gets to the point where they attack you, it generally or you get vulnerable enough with them, it often spells disaster for the person that's there.
Right.
Whenever you do get to a point where you're just with you and them, or you go with them, or you let them in your house, or you let them into your car, that they kill you.
Yeah,
a lot of people ask what happens if you let them into your house, or if you get tricked to inviting them in. Well, why aren't there stories on that? Many people have postulated, well, probably the people who made that mistake aren't around to give that side of the story anymore.
Or maybe something so weird happened they don't like talking about it.
Also a possibility.
Also a possibility.
Because it's that's the one thing with urban legends and stuff like that is it's okay, so is this an urban legend, or is this demons coming up in the shape of children? And what if they aren't demons, and it's because humans are we're programmed to find things disturbing. We'll get into this because this is something else I want to talk about, because you had another call to action about it, the Harlequin. And Marcus and I were talking about before the show, through Messenger, we were talking about the fear of clowns in people, and how it is really bizarre, in American culture, how many people are deathly terrified of clowns. But you go overseas, and that fear of clowns isn't there. I mean, all of Italy celebrates Carnival, where everybody dresses up, masks, makeup, you name it. And, the fear of clowns was not something that I ever picked up from any of my foreign national friends. But here in the U.S., I mean, you throw a rock, and you're going to hit at least 10 people that are afraid of clowns.
You're throwing a big rock.
Yeah. Hey, I've got muscles. But no, so people are programmed to find something scary. So, of course, if somebody shows up and they just look really weird in the eyes, and their no whites to their eyes are all just completely black, of course you're gonna get creeped out. And that's always been that's been shown culturally through media, movies, that that's a sign of somebody being possessed, or they're a vampire, or some kind of other demonic monstrous force. So what if it's actually not that, and it's something completely, the reality, calling this reality, but what if the reality is something completely different? What if it's actually, they're a good omen, but whatever they tell the people when they help them or get them alone is something that is so, I would want to say soul-shattering, that the people it's almost like whatever they're told, whatever they learn, it's like it almost kills them because it makes them a completely different person, or they just don't talk about it.
Well, that's part of our goal to find out. We're currently at the point in our research where we're collecting as many stories as we can, trying to get a clear image of exactly what we're dealing with.
Yeah. So if you guys have stories about the black-eyed children, or you know some things, please reach out to us on on our channel or any of our social media, because we want people to tell us their stories. We want to listen, because we want to make a real good determination and try to kind of explain what black-eyed children are.
The more source data we can get, the clearer picture we can make.
To see, is this possibility that maybe this thing is just a hoax? Is this, I don't know, our modern times version of a Bargeist or an ill omen, something that we're just saying this is something that comes to you to foreshadow a bad event or something.
So kind of like another Slenderman, which was made up urban fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's a strong opinion that a lot of paranormal groups have. When we do our call to action videos, we're reaching out to all these different paranormal groups and asking, and some of them, that's a good portion. A lot of them actually believe, even though they believe in all these other paranormal things, many of them they are very skeptical about whether or not the black-eyed children is a true paranormal phenomenon.
Yeah, because I've not met anybody that has seen black-eyed children. I know people, even if Phoenix actually talks about it, we feel like, I don't remember if I saw it or not, because I kind of what happened that night, I like to pretend I didn't see it. She thinks she saw a demon dog whenever we lived. It's been, I think it might actually have been 10 years ago this summer when she said she saw it. And in the Hopkinsville Goblins, my mom is from around that area. And actually I think she lived, her family is from that area. And then the Harlequin, I know people that have claimed to see clown entities. So, but I don't know if the clown entities were just mind figments of their imagination because they watched it recently, or something like that. But yeah, the black-eyed children, I don't know anybody that has ever claimed to have dealt with the situation that these black-eyed children are in. I know people who have claimed that they were talking to people, and then a child's eyes or an adult person's eyes would go completely black, and then the person would say and do something that was completely unlike them, and then their eyes would go back to normal, and then they'd be completely fine again.
Well, if you find any interesting stories on any of that subject matter, please pass them on to us. We'd love to have them.
Yeah, definitely. And if anybody listening would like to share any of their stories with Marcus and Vic here and help them out with their information, again, their YouTube channel is youtube.com/OneCandleSociety. You guys actually, though, you do have a projected date that the documentary will be done on.
Yes, I believe it was in June.
Yes, June 27th.
Yeah, it was June the 20th. I'm trying to remember the day. Yes, that's our projected date for when the documentary is coming out. So if you guys are interested in the black-eyed children phenomenon, make sure you guys check us out. Make sure you guys check us out so you guys can see it.
Make sure you subscribe to their channel, because then you'll get alerts whenever they upload it.
Yes.
That's really neat. Do you say your mother was from the area of the Hopkinsville Goblins?
Not from that area. Her family is from that area. The area that she lived in was that area, and where the Edgar Casey's from. That whole little part of Kentucky, yeah.
Yeah, that's up in our neck of the woods right there.
Yep.
Gosh, what if we're cousins? Catysville?
We're sorry, we're part of your family.
Oh, she's from Cadies. Their family's from Cadies. And Hopkinsville. So yeah, what if we're cousins?
then we're sorry that you're related to us.
My family's from this area, so you're probably not related to me.
Mine is, so I'm sorry.
It's okay, cousin. All right. But yeah, so I mean, I guess that then, so like, not to like spoil anything that you guys are gonna drop in your documentary, then I think we could probably move on from the Black Eyed Children, and then unless there's like anything else you guys want to like shout out there as like a teaser of what you guys may have collected.
Do you have anything?
A little bit. I don't know. It's a lot of the stories that I'm collecting. Well, it's interesting. A lot of people think that it is a hoax, and some people point to that there is an original source story that a lot of people point to, and when we do our documentary, we're going to try to see if we can shatter that, and we're going to try to see if maybe the Black Eyed Kids phenomenon goes a little bit farther than that, because we think it does.
Yeah, if it goes back further, that would be interesting. I'd like to know.
Well, then you should check out our documentary when it comes out in June.
Let me know. I'll put it on our Facebook page. Okay, so now when I was watching your guys' videos, you guys did something about like the Hollow Earth theory. I think that was in one of your list videos, and it reminded me of the exact opposite of the Hollow Earth theory. Reminded me of the Flat Earth theory.
Hollow Earth theory.
Oh yeah,
the extremely full Earth theory.
The extremely full Earth. The Earth is way heavier than it actually is.
No, the Flat Earth, yeah, and the Hollow Moon theory. That one, that touches a very special place in my heart. But yeah, I want to get your guys' opinion though first on the Flat Earthers.
Oh, we can go there first?
Yeah, we'll go there first, because the Hollow Moon theory, like, there's a little story that goes with it, and I think you guys will find that hilarious. But I want to know what you guys think about the Flat Earthers.
Do you want to go first? Or you want me to?
No, you go. You go first. You go first.
I do not believe the Earth is flat. Not even a little bit. I am pretty damn sure the Earth is round.
Where's your proof?
No.
Well, if you look at the horizon, it creates a round horizon instead of a flat one, indicating a curvature to the Earth.
Like the thing that I love about flat Earthers is that they're not. When you look at most, like a lot of proponents for a lot of paranormals, there are even imagery of people that believe. I'm saying this wrong. I think that a lot of the perceptions about what a lot of people who are into the paranormal is like they're wearing tinfoil hats, or we're all living in our mother's basement, riddled with acne, just trolling internet forums. But the Flat Earthers are often like college kids, or they're like really wealthy people, or really like intellectual people too. That's the weirdest thing about their followers. And I want one of their t-shirts so badly. If anybody ever has a Christmas idea, I want one of their t-shirts. The Flat Earth Society. So bad.
Yeah, I want one of those too, actually. Well, like I said, we're up here in Ohio, so you can imagine what all the knockoff sports memorabilia shops are full of after one of our Cavalier teammates was like, "I believe the Earth is flat," and so this t-shirts, some dude was being interviewed on a podcast, and he had one of these shirts on, and it was I think it was like a Flat Globe Champions.
Wow.
Well.
And it was like not even a week had passed, and somebody already made a t-shirt.
Like the people that believe it would be like famous celebrities. It was like I think it was Wiz Khalifa, and then there was like I know Tila Tequila was definitely one of them. That's like a celebrity that's come out talking about believing that the Earth was flat. And like it's so funny because everybody's like, why don't you go out to prove that the Earth is flat? Why don't you go?
Kyrie Irving, thank you, Phoenix, in chat. My sister, instead of like coming in here and hanging out, she's laying around on her bed, watching the show, and using the live chat.
Nice.
Yes, but yeah, she sends it was Kyrie Irving that said that he thinks the Earth is flat.
Yes, I got that wrong. And a lot of the people will be like, why don't you just go to the edge of the Earth to prove that it's flat? And a lot of times what they'll say is, oh, you can't get there because this international force known as the Ice Guardians are patrolling it and will catch you and throw you in a deep, dark prison, and you'll never see the light of day again to prove it. And I sound like the crazy person for saying that the Earth is round. Like,
Maybe that's what happened to what's her face, the God, Amelia Earhart. Maybe that's what happened to her. The Ice Guardians got her.
Yeah, that's something that some of the people have pointed. The flat earthers have pointed to. The more conspiracy theory ones, they sort of get into that. But you'll find, I mean, they'll try to argue with you with a lot of like pseudoscience stuff that I don't think they fully understand.
Who was that dude, that musician, and like him and like the whole plane, they had that big plane accident, and it was like, and people were like really upset, and like there was this dude who like lost a coin flip to him, and he would have been on the plane, and maybe he saw the edge of the earth, and that's why they killed him. Like this was the Big Bopper or something. Buddy Holly. Maybe that's really what happened to Buddy Holly too.
Maybe. But I mean, it's hard. I mean, you can conjecture anybody that they died, that they were probably onto something in the paranormal.
Still, I'm generally the believer out of us, and I'm still not buying it.
I'm really like stuck on that. Ice Guardians will get you. They're
out there apparently, and they're gonna get you.
And NASA's just a big front for laundering money.
I'm for it. If any, I'm willing to start a GoFundMe to go and fight the Ice Guardians.
We should make a team together.
I'm in.
Yeah. Let's go, and I will, because I've been trying to get people to fund me to fight a demon and fight a ghost. Like, I want to like go bare fists against the paranormal. Nobody's given me any money, but maybe somebody will give me money to fight an Ice Guardian.
I know I think that could be a thing for us. We should raise the money on that and going like, I think people would totally do that for us to go prove that the Earth is flat. They would probably pay for it because they would probably want to know that the Earth is. They want evidence of it to show the world, to convince all those round Earthers.
I am willing, if they fund my expedition, I will go and prove that the Earth is flat.
Although I am skeptical, if you give me enough money, I will go in the spirit of earnest discovery to find out the truth.
A joint venture between the Skeptic, Sanctum, and One Candle Society to fight the Ice Guardians.
The only thing I really want to do is just punch an Ice Guardian, because that just sounds like amazing.
Yeah, even if you were in prison for like the rest of your life, I might be comfortable with being able to say the story of, at least I punched an Ice Guardian.
Yeah. I'll be like sitting next to the skeleton of Amelia Earhart. Yeah, I punched one of those Ice Guardians in the jaw. Didn't do nothing.
I know I want to grow one of those big old timey handlebar mustaches and just kind of bare fist one of them. Just kick off the shirt and go for it. Boy.
I challenge you to a game of fisticuffs.
How about you, Ice Guardian?
Oh man, that would actually, yeah. So like, look, yeah, if you know any flat earthers that have a lot of money, listeners, send them to me.
And send us one of your t-shirts.
And t-shirts. I wear a very, very large shirt. Okay, so we've discussed flat Earth and how we want money, so we will go on an expedition because all expeditions need funding, or we will die of starvation and have to eat our own legs. So somewhere.
See Marcus's legs.
No, I'm not for this. I'm on board up until this point.
I'm volunteering Marcus.
I do not consent.
So an expedition to the ends of the Earth is possible, but since we cannot walk to the moon, we'll slowly melt into this one. What do you guys know about the hollow moon theory?
Is this the theory that the moon's hollow and there's alien bases inside it?
Yes.
I know a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so I listen to a lot of paranormal stuff, and in order to do a weekly podcast, I've got to stay informed about what people what people are talking about. And this is one of the ones that it comes and goes. And it's a hollow moon theory, and it's that the aliens are there, they're in the moon, but the moon is not alien bases. It's actually just a giant ship, and all the aliens, millions of them, billions, just extremely large amount, they're all in a comatose state inside the moon. And but when they're in this comatose state, they can come to Earth psychically and they talk to people. Okay, so you get this, they're just pure energy at this point. They can only talk. Not everybody can see them.
Up to this point, they sounded like the Borg. Like a bunch of things in comatose states living inside a spherical object traveling through space.
It gets even more like the Borg, okay? So, like how the Borg would like take people and like integrate them to make their society better?
They come scared.
So, this is what the aliens in the moon are apparently doing, is that they all have their own DNA, but apparently the DNA is part of their soul. And so whenever they're psychically visiting the Earth, they are like, whenever they're meeting people, they're like, "Hi, can I have some of your DNA? Because I want to make myself a little bit like you." And there are people that, when they claim to see these aliens, some of them look like dinosaurs, some of them have like other animal features, some of them just look like normal people, and it's all because like they're taking parts of everybody's livers that consent to it. Or these animal livers, dinosaur livers, like they've been here since the beginning of the Earth. Taking parts of people's livers and injecting it into their own DNA through their mind psychic.
So Marcus, if an alien psychic projection ever shows up to you and explains he's from the Hollow Moon and asks you for a bit of his liver so he can put a little bit of him in you, which sounds pretty weird already, are you going to say yes? Are you ready to sign up for this?
Okay, after I crap my pants, that's probably most people's response. If that is not your first response to that, I'm going to be very skeptical of your story, because that scared the hell out of me. The idea of just minding my own business and an alien projects itself to me saying, "Can I take some of your DNA?"
Drew, I'm from the moon and I need some liver.
Yeah. I would probably be a little concerned. I would say maybe you would like Vic's better. He's slightly taller. He is heavier than I am. Has more facial hair.
Definitely have more facial hair.
Maybe a little bit more DNA to contribute there.
They want my fertile hair follicles. I think we call the dare officers on this one and say this is a just say no scenario.
Just say no, folks. It's I don't know. For me, the Hollow Moon theory, I think that when you look at like haunted places, a lot of times, and this comes from a skeptical point of view, when you have a very remote place that not a lot of people go to and not a lot of people know a lot of real information on it,
like Area 51.
Yeah, kind of like conjecture like that, or just your local haunted house. Like conjecture starts to spin. I mean, any like the haunted house at the end of the street sort of deal. I mean, you can see that now. People will start spinning their own stories about certain things.
Yeah.
And that's how a lot of legends are born. And when you think about that, what is the moon other than this remote place that we've only visited a handful of times, that we don't go to very often, that we can't get to? It's going to get its own conjecture and its own theories about it. And the more remote it is, and the more amount of people involved doing it, the more stories you're going to get.
I don't know about the psychic projections after my liver, but I will say there are some lunar anomalies that I can't quite fully dispel, but the rest of the story I'm not quite convinced on.
Yeah, the best part about the whole thing for me was, other than the liver part, and the people, they go, oh yeah, the parts of my liver they take are so minuscule that the doctors can't notice. I do know that is not true, because my mom, Becky, she has some liver issues, and because of all the stuff, all the testing they've been doing on her, any microscopic change to her liver, the doctors know. They would go, your liver is like 5% the size of a normal person's liver in this direction. Or, they know, the doctors know, there is, the liver has a set look and size to it, and if it's anyway not normal, if there's little tiny pivots in it, they're gonna know.
Yeah, when it comes to abductees or some people that have had reports of encountering aliens, there's it touches a soft spot in probably in me and Vic's heart, because these are people that have either have had a very traumatic experience
Yes.
to them, and this is something that will affect them for the rest of their lives, most likely, or B, they believe that they've had a very traumatic experience.
Yeah.
To them, it's so whether or not that's true or it's not true, it becomes very difficult for that person, I think, to function. I mean, there's like support groups that are surrounded about abductees. I mean, they have to have their own support groups, which is even harder because many people don't believe them. I mean, how do you talk about that? How do you talk about that? Even if let's say for example the hollow moon theory that you're talking about was even real, like, and they came and they got some of your DNA. Let's how do you talk about that to other people to even process that? Like, you just.
Well, one of the problems when it comes to emotional pain, real or imaginary, you eventually have to process that pain.
Yeah.
For most people, a big step in that processing is being able to communicate it to someone else. If you're stuck in a situation where you can't communicate it, there's a good chance you also aren't going to be able to process through it. So you just linger with that pain, and eventually it builds up.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, children who are bullied, for example, are actually a really good, good example of that. Like, I was bullied in school, and, when I wasn't talking about it, I had big attitude issues, and it took me a long, long time to grow out of those. And I had really bad mood swings. I mean, I was having cancer tantrums even well past 18. Like, who I am now emotionally is a lot different than who I was 7 years ago.
And that's good, because not a lot of people can grow out of that. Like Vic, who's been having tantrums well into his 30s.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm about to have a tantrum upside your head.
Not everybody can come through that, Raven. So.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. But yeah, and you guys are right. Like, I don't mean to shit on people who claim to have been abducted by aliens, but it's just even with the paranormal, when we've had our own experiences, I've had my own experiences. It's, if anybody comes to me in confidence and they go, hey, look, this crazy thing happened to me, I'm gonna go, you know what, I don't believe any of it, but I'm not going to doubt you. We really don't judge.
We take a real strong stance on it. We try to approach even the things that we don't believe at all. If someone's bringing in a personal case of it, we always try to give it the benefit of the doubt. We always try to at least walk in with a very open mind when it comes to it.
Yeah, I mean, that's our tagline. Keep believing.
Because we'll keep listening.
We take that very seriously, and a lot of times, it's not when you're investigating the paranormal, you get into some very, very, very deep stuff. And almost at a certain point, you have to laugh and make a sort of joke about it. We don't do it because we can. We do it because we have to.
Right. And actually, speaking about laughing and joking, I kind of feel like the next topic we're going to go into really isn't so much laughing matter, because of how serious you guys were talking about it and how serious some of the stories that you heard were. And what I'm talking about is the Harlequin.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that one was actually, like, I heard, people talking about seeing phantom jesters. But, not so much in the term of the Harlequin. For people that are, listening, have never heard of it before, what is the Harlequin?
You want to fill this, or do you want me to?
You go ahead and start, Vic.
Well, the phenomenon seems fairly rare based on the fact that we can only find a few accounts of it. But the quick of the matter is, it's a lithe, colorfully dressed entity that appears starkly inhuman. It'll often begin following a person, becoming invasive into their life, into their home, keeping them distracted, trying to keep their attention on it, and then starts to demand levels of that attention. Like if you're not giving it to it, it'll start doing things to mess with your life, to terrorize you. And it usually seems to follow someone throughout a series of their life. It'll often extend past that person to where it'll begin to menace the family around it. Its abilities seem to stretch into fields that go along the lines of the psychic, being able to cause holes in memory, being able to move things by thought, or being able to manifest images within you. But ultimately, it's hard to fully speculate on its full goals with the little information we have. But it seems that most of it leads to the point of demanding your attention and belief.
So, kind of like a minor demon.
It's possible. We did speculate that one, but I'm not prepared to take a hardline stance on that's what it is.
Right.
I think when it came to the Harlequin, I was trying to identify what it was. It was very hard for us to do that, and we
actually argued quite a bit on that subject matter.
And we're still arguing about the subject matter.
Yeah.
As to trying to guess of what it really was.
I mean, it could also just be like a cat spirit that got confused.
It's quite possible. I mean, I think when coming back to, I think it was kind of coming back to the Slender Man conversation that you had brought up earlier, talking about this deep seated fear that many of us all have as a collective, manifesting as a physical image. I think was where I ended up making my best guess of something that this thing could be.
Yeah.
Because many times with the Harlequin, when you look at it, it has these very inhuman features, or it has these it behaves in a way in very it exemplifies like very vicious behavior, gluttonous behavior, wrathful behavior, or these other vices that we frown upon, and those sorts of things that in our minds that terrify some of us, it manifesting itself out there.
It makes itself a very strong symbol of the stranger or the outsider.
Yeah. And I guess the thing that that was like interesting to me was because around the time that you guys did your call to action for this was whenever the people were dressing up as clowns and harassing people was at its peak.
Yep, you're getting at a big disagreement that me and Vic have.
Yep.
About whether or not that's connected to the Harlequin or not.
Yeah, we actually argued that point fairly frequently.
Yeah, for hours actually. We had that argument when we were at Golden Corral, talking about right before we recorded this video about the Harlequin, because I think that there's something to it that I think those could be Harlequin entities.
And I think they're entirely separate situations.
And I think Vic is wrong.
And I think Marcus is wrong dumb and ugly.
I think he is wrong more, and that I am a better person, morally.
I don't know what either of you look like, but I'm pretty sure you're both very handsome, fine gentlemen. But let's be civil. and and so it is very possible that maybe the Harlequin is a group hallucination and it manages to manifest in some people, or the exact opposite and it actually is a actual entity. But I mean, there isn't a whole lot of it out there, and we'll know when another creepy clown movie comes out. If I'm correct, isn't the remake of It going to be out soon?
Yeah, it's coming out soon. Actually, what most people don't know is this whole phenomenon came out well before It.
Yeah.
Actually, this whole phenomenon was it came out before Stephen King.
Yeah, because I do writing and I do artwork in my spare time, and I actually in your video you guys had actually mentioned the Fae, and that's actually something I know a lot about because I always had an interest in fairies, especially in my writing, and I had designed a creature that was a jester who was a changeling. That's
Phantom clown phenomena fairly strongly to be possibly Fae related.
Right, and
as well as the Harlequin. I want to throw that out there. Yes, he did it. He did it. Y'all heard it on live on here. He just admitted it.
Sorry, I misspoke. I meant to say Harlequin phenomena, not Phantom clown phenomena, Marcus, and you can shut up.
Reach deep into that subconscious and know it. Sorry.
But no, I think there's possibly a relation there because very often Phantom clown phenomena will be cited. Oh my God, I just did it again. Harlequin phenomena will be cited near large hills and things like that.
And I am not the first person to believe in fairies. In fact, they're I'm high demons are on my list of things that are possible, like king demons causing earthquakes in Brazil, or I believe that is more possible. And the ice giants that guard the flat Earth are more believable to me than fairies. But given the lore behind fairies, and as a skeptic, I do educate myself on the fantasy still. Given the lore of fairies, the Harlequin does match the thing because, like you guys said, they try to lure you. They demand attention. The alterations of memory and time. I mean, that's all. That's all like not Rip Van. No, he didn't sleep with fairies. But I mean, that's just all fairy circle, time warp kind of deal.
And an interesting detail that's overlooked is the Harlequins often described as having the scent of wet earth.
Yes.
And the Fae folk are often referred to as the loam dwellers, or those who dwell within wet earth.
Yes.
So.
More children.
Yep.
I mean, we talked. It was a pretty heavy conversation because it's an entity that strongly, targets children, and. And that's a pretty sinister,
modus operandi.
Modus operandi. That's what we're getting at. Pretty beginning. That's why we found it just so disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Leave the children alone. Dang it.
Actually, if you're looking in prison culture, I mean, these are people that commit some of the worst atrocities known to man, and it's a strong faux pas in prison culture to mess with a kid.
Yeah, if you go to jail for committing a crime against a child, there's a chance that you will not survive prison.
Yep. So,
mm-hmm.
Let's approach that topic with such the gravitas that it really deserved.
Yeah, I'm and the reason for that though is because these prisoners are sexual assault, for example, gets less than many worse crimes. I mean, minor crimes. You can go to jail for not you can actually don't even have to go to jail for committing a sexual assault, but you get found with marijuana on you in some states and you're in jail for 3 years. And so yeah, these inmates are like, you're gonna get out before me, and I have children out there, so I'm gonna do everybody a favor. But that's a conversation for another day. So, speaking of weird phenomena that, targets children and harasses families, well, let's go in then to the Hopkinsville Goblins.
Yeah.
Well, very, very interesting case.
Yeah, that was one of our favorite videos that we did.
It was actually, I actually really enjoyed it, and also because, as you did another video about another, possibly alien entity, and you guys go, they said it's an owl, and then you guys continue to go, man, what is it with these kind of things? And then they go, man, I'm pretty sure, and you said the skeptics are suggesting this, and these guys think it's a great horned owl.
Oh yeah, and we have these humanoid creatures with slightly pointed ears that they're shooting buckshot into, and it's not doing anything to them. Clearly, it's an owl.
It's an owl.
That's normal owl behavior to just stand there when it's shot with a shotgun.
or there's this 9-foot tall creature with giant eyes. Probably just an owl.
It's an owl.
I have no clue why that's their go-to right there.
Oh gosh, with the Hopkinsville Goblins, it was so. It was just so bizarre how they just wanted to just jump to. These were just a families that were plagued by several hours by owls.
Mean, curious, bulletproof owls. I mean, it makes perfect sense.
And these are also good old boys living out in the country. They probably know what an owl looks like.
What's weird, and the reason, and a very skeptic. I'm a skeptic too, and here on the Skeptic Sanctum, you would think in that whole story, if it was owls, that they would have said, and they hooted.
Yeah.
But no.
They were coming up to the house, peeking in the windows, and they hooted at me. So I shot at it.
Yep. Yeah, it's so weird. It's they call believers crazy, in the paranormal, crazy, because we'll always go, that was a demon, but here in the Hopkinsville Goblins, they're just that's an owl, or no, that was just a bunch of circus monkeys that were spray painted silver that just stumbled upon that family's farm.
That's another one that I just find hilarious. The argument that it was just a bunch of escaped circus monkeys spray painted silver.
But we're the crazy people. But we're the crazies that
guys.
Tell the story. Yeah.
Obviously, it was swamp gas.
Yep, swamp gas.
Swamp gas. Yeah.
I'd at least explain the bulletproof.
Swamp gas is bulletproof.
Yeah.
Want to be scientific here.
I'm it's and if they were using this event as a disguise to shoot up another family or somebody, there would have been blood.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter how good that area it is at murdering people and cleaning it up, there's still going to be blood.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with how many gunshots there were all over the place.
There was some sort of weird eerie green residue that was supposedly found.
That's owl blood.
Yep. As we all know, owl blood is green and glows.
Yep. Well, okay, guys. Okay, look. No, owls are kind of alien. Did you know they actually don't have anuses?
Or souls, probably, according to Vic.
I am not a big owl fan.
So it's very possible. I've never seen an owl bleed. So owls probably do have green blood. And they're probably bulletproof. I've never seen a dead owl.
I think that maybe we're onto something here, Raven. Maybe we should be talking to the U.S. government. Maybe this is where our tax dollars should be going, into an army of owls to defend our borders.
No,
because they will turn against us.
Yeah, I'm going to write a letter to Donald Trump saying you need to invest in owl harnessing technology in order to just protect us.
You know what? If they're bulletproof, you know what? It might work better than the dolphins that escaped.
I'm staring Marcus
Right,
down
now.
now.
I will not write a letter to our president, maybe the next one, to try to harness owl technology.
Now, I'm pretty much certain the Hopkinsville goblins weren't owls. Now, I'm not totally certain that owls might not be some sort of demonic creature on their own.
We've never seen them bleed, and I've never seen a dead one.
It was cool. And why we like the Hopkinsville Goblin was that it happened. The Hopkinsville Goblin story happened on the same day as one of the like Evansville's big local legends, too, at the same time. And that was what was really cool to us. Like it was the green clawed beast,
which also had to do with a glowing green phosphorescent substance.
It was an owl. Owls swim.
Yeah, owls swim under. Yeah, now they're water.
Underwater owls just snatched people and pulled them down to the Ohio River.
They're bleeding green blood in the Ohio River, and that probably explains why the Ohio River is so nasty. It's got owl blood in it.
It's full of owls. See, that's really what's up with the Asian carps. The Asian carps were actually released in the Ohio River in order to fight the owls.
I sound like Asian carps a lot more.
Yep.
You go get them, boys.
See, that would explain though why when you on a boat down the river and they start flying at you, because they're trained to launch themselves into the air and take out owls.
Yeah, they're just expecting your boat to make sure there's no owls on board.
Yes.
But we really like the Hopkinsville Goblins because it was, if you're really like wanting to get into the field of the paranormal, which is what we really want people to do. It's a really good like UFO alien story.
Yeah, good old boys. That area, they don't talk about this shit.
Well, that's because everybody thinks they're crazy when they do. That's
right.
Or they think that they have an owl infestation in their house.
Yeah, so the fact that they even went out and said anything really shows, these people were serious. They believed what happened to them happened to them.
Yeah, like the sheriff, whether or not he personally believed him, he said he certainly believed that they believed they saw something.
And one of the things that's important, we talked about this in the video, when you're trying to interview people and you're trying to get at the validity of a story, you want to find, you interview people separately because you want to see the consistency of the story.
Yes.
And to see how consistent the story stays over time. And then with the Hopkinsville Goblins, it pretty much stayed the same throughout this whole family's life. They never really recanted much. They never really canted much of what they were about what they had said, and it was almost all the same. So, even if you think like, oh, they're just drunk. If you listen to drunk people talking about things, it'll still be different. Not the same like what a lot of their stories were in the Hopkinsville Goblins.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Hopkinsville and like the whole area, there's an area that you guys actually do stuff in a lot. And like this town, the way you guys were talking about this area, it reminded me of several areas that we have here in Ohio. You guys do a lot of investigating in an area called Dogtown.
Yep.
What exactly is Dogtown?
It seems to be, or at least at one point in time, a very strong paranormal magnet. Now, the encounters have become less and less frequent in the last few years, and I'm wondering if perhaps it goes in a cyclical cycle. But it used to be that you could go out there and pretty regularly see something odd. But it seems in the last few years that's kind of died off a bit. We still make sure to sweep through every once in a while. We're kind of hoping the anomalies might occur in a cyclical nature, so maybe it'll come back around.
So what Dogtown is it's this section of Evansville, Indiana, that is, and because Evansville is on the very bottom of Indiana, we're along the river, and we have a large flood wall, okay, along Evansville, and the part of Evansville that is not on the flood wall, that's along the river, is Dogtown, and it's this very remote, like isolated section of town that's rumored to have a lot of paranormal aspects about it. And a high crime rate area also for eating like raw.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, because you guys, you actually, you were talking about like the high amount of meth in that area.
Yep. Yeah, actually, my grandmother, and it's called Dogtown because there's a tavern that's there called, well, it's not open anymore, but it used to be called the Dogtown Tavern, and that's why everybody calls it Dogtown. I think it's Union Town. It's Union Township here. It's the thing. I was talking to my grandma, who's a real big, who's really into paranormal too. But one thing she always says about Dogtown, oh, you never go down there at night. It's really nice during the day, but oh no, never go down there at night.
That's
but if you go down there, day or night, you will be followed.
Yeah, people will follow you in this part of town. They recognize what cars live down there, and you will get followed. And it has happened to us
many times.
They will follow you till you leave.
That's wild.
Yeah.
But that is actually, the high amount of crime and drug usage is actually, very common. I've discovered in some locations where the whole area seems haunted. And, like up here in Cleveland and, in the surrounding townships, and then when you get into suburbia, the areas that are not super close to the city, they have a super, very high extreme, like, it's just like, every day somebody is dying from an opium heroin overdose. And, but these areas have these abandoned buildings, and, these abandoned buildings have a history, even from before they were abandoned, from before the steel mills left and before the coal mines shut down. Like, these areas did have paranormal activity.
That's interesting that you bring that up, because another member of the society, Adam Mathers, he's been working on a really interesting theory for years that areas with high poverty rate, where there's a higher degree of suffering on average, draws the attention of paranormal activity. He's actually been working on mapping out paranormal occurrences and overlaying with areas that have higher poverty and crime rates. And he's coming up with some pretty interesting stuff. I'm looking forward to when he completes the research and is able to actually put some of it out there for everybody.
Something else that he might actually want to look into, and this is something that I've noticed but not put a lot of work into, is I've noticed there's actually been an extremely high raise in people turning away from Christianity, Catholicism, Judaism, Islam, and going more into paganism and witchcraft styled religions in these areas. They're not so much into the paranormal. You go there, ask questions, they're not going to want to talk to you. But they've got the stuff that kind of goes, yeah, you're into this. And, it's, so, it's like people are, in these poor areas, it's like they're not realizing, it's just like they're going, man, everything was fine, and I was a Christian, but then I was still a Christian, and everything went to shit.
Well, I think when the Christianity and a lot of organized religion, and a lot of more organized religions, I think they have a hard time explaining, or they don't really give a good satisfactory answer sometimes to people that are sometimes looking for an answer about the paranormal. And we as people, we want to feel a resolution when we're searching for something. We want that control of understanding.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that could be a part of it.
Also, people who live on the more fringes of society are more likely to look for spiritual answers outside the norm. So I think that might play into factor there as well.
Yeah, I mean, these are areas that that had been primarily Christian, and you're all right. Maybe it's just they're going, man, the mainstream just ain't doing it for me no more, and so then they go and they make up their own. They take what they want from the other. Because a lot of them, they don't even follow the set. They don't have a lot of books. It's just they kind of do what they feel is right. And, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with any of it at all. The point of religion is to, at its core, help guide you as an individual to, for your salvation, what you feel is salvation, what you feel makes your life worth living. And so if it's helping these people out while they don't have, the jobs are melting out from them and everybody's dying from drug overdoses, let them have it. But it's just interesting, though, to see a rise in these religions that weren't considered religions, 20 years ago.
And you can also find a lot of historical references to this sort of stuff in, like, isolated rural areas with folk versions of commonly existing religions starting to pop up, like some of the beliefs in, like, the folk devil and things along those lines get real fascinating if you're willing to dive into some very obscure research.
Yeah. Like the, and I have a few friends that are, they're Satanists, and they've been Satanists for a very long time. And one of them was actually, he was like, speaking along the lines of that, he's like, I want you to keep an eye out because he's like, we're about due for an explosion of Satanism hysteria, where anytime anybody looks into a group of chiefs, they're gonna go, there's Satanists sacrificing people in there. And that I was thinking about the conversation I had with him whenever I was watching your one video about the Purple Church.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys are like, you said that there were like donkeys and stuff at this building that you guys were finding dead.
Oh, we didn't personally find that. That's based on someone else's research.
Okay.
Yeah. When we found that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a very disturbing video. I mean, me personally, I don't. I often cringe when people are quick to pointing something out that something is a demon. Me personally, I have very strong Catholic, beliefs, and if I truly believe that something is possibly has demonic connections to it, I think that's a very a dangerous practice and a very very a dangerous thing to be experiencing or investigating.
But going back to the thing with the donkey, that wasn't just someone reporting that they saw a dead donkey out there. They were actually videotaping on the time and just were videotaping that they found this dead donkey out there.
I mean, that sounds pretty legit. That sounds a lot more legit.
The only other thing, we didn't talk about it enough in that video, because when you had that video, we did this, we profiled this building in Oklahoma that's called the Purple Church, that supposedly Satanists are sacrificing animals at, and the other thing we didn't talk enough about it is it very quite it possibly could just be sociopaths going out there and just killing animals.
Yes.
That's a lot of work to take a donkey out in the middle of nowhere, though, and kill it just for fun.
I don't know, like, looking at, because at one time I actually wanted to be an FBI profiler, so, like, I looked up a lot of stuff about people that are like that, and they go at great lengths to get their high. And, going out into the middle of the nowhere with an expensive pack animal, that really is not above somebody who has that kind of, I mean, I don't want to say it's a need, but to them it's a need.
And something that could possibly validate that is if you look very closely on the mule or donkey, you can note that there are rope burns near the neck where it looks like the animal had tried to resist, where it seems like the animal was trying to fight being taken to where it was.
Yeah.
We didn't really talk about it in the video, but it is something I did note when I was looking over the evidence.
Yeah. And thank you for not having that evidence in your video, because I would have been sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually when we went into that video, we really thought that we were gonna, debunk this or have a lot more skeptic thoughts on it. It was pretty disturbing about the stuff that you found about what people have seen when they've been out there. I mean, an area that's literally littered with animal bones. That you know when you go out there, and not a section that has and these are just like dogs and donkeys and other. It's a very, very disturbing place.
Although there is some evidence to imply that there is a practice going on in that area. Like we talked a bit about the relation of the donkey and the black dog within certain practices within esoteric studies.
Yes.
Those are considered to be what's called Saturnine sacrifices, which, according to some of the grimoires, like Agrippa's books on occult philosophy and things like that, are animals that are identified that can be used to summon up specific demons. So there is somewhat of a connection, a cultic connection in there.
Yeah, if you read I think it was the Lesser Key of Demons, that they do talk about that in there, and like a lot of the demons actually have some part of donkey in them.
Saturnine practices also exist within the Keys of Solomon as well, so you can find the relation there.
Yeah. I mean, that would make sense. You use an animal that has some kind of connection with a certain demon. This is actually the funny thing is when I was studying like the apparent named demons, and I was like, man, and this was whenever we started getting into the paranormal, my family and I was just like, man, demons really aren't a common occurrence. Either this person is like, yeah, there's a demon in my house, and it like rattles the windows, and it scratched my arm one time, and it did this and this, and the more that I researched, the less I'm like, that's not a demon. This was a really angry ghost, because demons got big shit going on.
Yeah, it's a lot of people are just quick to point that out, but I mean, if you really think about the concept of probably what they're talking about, you're talking about Judeo-Christian entity defying God that was cast out of heaven, and you're saying that it's spending its time just scratching you or just dicking around with you.
Yeah, Satan has bigger stuff going down than to be harassing a suburban soccer mom in her good Christian neighborhood.
And if you really look at some of the real more, I don't want to say concrete, but more believable stories about possession and whatnot, and the real effects about some of the effects that's about that kind of presence, what happens on people, you are not going to be able to function almost in life by the end of it.
Yeah.
Like we've done a lot of investigations as part of our work with the One Candle Society, and we've come across families who believe they're under demonic assault. Well, even the ones where we believe there was something paranormal going on, we don't believe that we've ever ran into a demonic entity in our research.
Yeah, we actually we know a gentleman that he is a demonologist, as he calls himself. And he's been doing it. Dad, Mike's been doing this for about 42 years. Mm-hmm. Actually, I think it would be 43 years now. And he's only met 2 demons. That I think he didn't do that. And he had to get help with the exorcism stuff too, right, Dad?
No, he had been around 4.
4 of them.
Yeah, he could do the exorcism.
Oh yeah, because he is a minister, and I think he's got the proper documentation and everything to do official exorcisms. And actually, from what I've learned recently, is that multiple exorcisms are actually needed. It's not one and done.
Yeah, true. Like a lot of exorcisms, most people don't know. I mean, they look at like The Exorcist of Emily Rose or the movie The Exorcist and things like that, and think like it's a one, or think that it's a one trip thing and you're done. No, a lot of exorcisms actually can take years.
Yeah, I can't quite recall the guy's name. If I remember right, this exorcism was in England. They're going through the course of the exorcism, and they had concluded for the night, and they decided they're going to come back the next day to do continue it. But before they could come back the next day, the guy had killed his wife, killed his animals, and I believe killed himself as well.
Crazy.
This is the kind of behavior that honestly that we probably believe of people that have possible true demonic anything that may be plaguing them.
Yeah. Now, so now we're on the topic of demons. You guys used a term that I've actually never heard used before when you guys were talking about demon dogs. What's the term again?
Bargeist.
How do you spell that?
I don't know off the top of my head.
We are not spelling aficionados. I think it's BARGHEIST. I think.
It's BARGIEST, you said?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yes. Okay. BARGHEST.
Did I spell that right?
Yes.
High five.
Yeah, and that is
strong interest in Bargeist. I've been researching them for quite many years.
Yeah, I mean, like, I wish Phoenix had been on the show because, whenever this was when we actually lived off in Turkey, and, she'd been outside playing, and it was kind of like twilight, not super late, and she actually, she came in, and I was on the other side of, like, I think I might have been outside, but I don't exactly remember where I was, but she's just, like, pale as a ghost, and she's like, I saw a dog that was not a dog. And like, she was describing like this lanky, furless, red glowing-eyed monster.
That pretty well meets the description right there.
That is the how they look.
And like I'm not like insulting her when I say she wasn't like an imaginative child. She was very imaginative, but she did not like show up with stories like that. She she never came to us as she was growing up. So her and I have a 7-year difference. So like, when she was going through the stage where I would have been running to mom and dad making up stories. Oh, are you putting on pants, Phoenix? To come and talk about your demon dog?
Which one?
The one that you saw in Turkey.
Okay.
She actually is putting on you're wearing my shirt.
I am wearing your shirt.
You're wearing my shirt.
I appreciate the effort.
Yes, okay. How do I look, Raven? Like I just crawled out of bed?
Yeah, you look like you crawled out of bed. You heard your name and you're gonna come and sit in my chair.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
I can
So, gentlemen, Mark is Vic. This is Phoenix. And she's gonna talk about her demon dog.
Okay.
Because you like demon dogs.
So, I was 8, 9 years old, living in Turkey. It was the middle of the summer. And I was outside playing with some toys. Like, we had some dolls, like playhouse stuff set up out in one of our driveways. Because they were connected driveways in the house. But, well, we saw something
you were
along...
playing with friends, that's, yeah.
We were sitting along in the driveway, and we looked along off in the, like, it was basically like a block away. Like, you turn the corner, and the fence for the gate or the base is right there. It's pretty close. And we saw something. We kind of, like, get behind one of the cars and look and kind of watch for a few moments, and we see it dart from behind one of the houses to behind another house. And I kid you not, it looked just like a person, but its head was the shape of more of a German shepherd's. And I remember that because military, you grow up around big German shepherds, but it was like, it looked more like a German shepherd if any other type of dog, or a wolf of some sort. It was very off-putting, I'll admit. As in, it's not something I'd ever want to have to see again.
That's probably good. I mean, if you're just comfortable seeing just, like, large dog people, I would probably be concerned.
I mean, like, at that age, I definitely was not comfortable with it. If I saw one now, at that same type of moment, I'd probably think it'd be somebody running around with a unicorn head. And I'd probably be more worried about some lunatic running around at 10 o'clock at night with a unicorn head. God knows what they're doing. Then add a demon
That's
dog.
not very nice.
Well, but yeah, it was just really weird. And it's like I remember, like every now and then I'll still like think about it too. It's not something that's ever left me. It like
I get that description one more time just to make sure I'm getting it straight.
it was a black silhouette of a man, pretty fitly built, and they had like proportioned to their body a German Shepherd wolf-shaped head, and they had glowing red eyes. Like it kind of trailed in the dark. It was really weird, very vivid, very
I don't
weird.
think it's a Bargeist sighting, but I've heard a lore on other creatures that meet this description. I'd have to refresh myself on the lore before I make any solid statements on it. But I'll try to hit the book sometime soon and get you some ideas on what you might have saw. But I doubt that it's necessarily a Bargeist.
Well, I know I wasn't the only one to see it. The friend I was with also saw it. And, like, we know it made noises. Like, we heard it making noises behind the houses along the fence. Like, maybe, I don't remember what noises, maybe it jumped the fence or something, or
And
knocked
it
some
was running
trash cans.
towards you guys, right?
Yeah, it was actually running towards us, but not, like, towards us, but in our general direction. And so we kind of bolted inside our houses.
Yeah, because, like, that was the one thing is, like,
That's
where she
probably
saw
smart.
this was along the edge of where we lived on the military base. And the
Wait,
guards...
we're on video. I could, like, draw a picture of it.
The guards would always the guards would always take a jeep and they'd go around, so we knew what the jeeps would always sound like. And the thing is though is that the jeeps never
Traveled at night.
they did travel at night, but the thing is that they always traveled in the same direction.
Oh, yeah, and it was going in the other direction.
And yeah, and so this was going this thing that she saw was going the opposite direction of what the the guards usually go.
So, just to, like...
Well, they can't see it because unless they're looking at the video now.
well, they can wait a second.
Can't. Yeah. That's a terrible drawing, Phoenix. That's not how you spell fence. Phoenix,
Hold on.
you're going really slow.
Hold on.
Phoenix, there's dead air. You're really bad at
I'm
this.
not, there's no dead air. So, this is kind of what it looked like. See if I can get it.
Unfortunately, we don't have video on our
Okay.
side.
I told
So,
you, Phoenix.
Okay,
But the
think of like a
benefit
T shape. Like, our house was on the corner of the T, and on the long side, like the top of the T, that's where the fence was for the gate, or for the base. You should have had your video on. You should look at that. It's important. It's a very,
They'd have to go to the YouTube channel, Phoenix.
very bad video.
You don't know how this works, Phoenix. Go away.
What did you use?
is
You
we
don't-
will give you our thoughts on what we think that it is. We'll send it to you whenever we do look at it.
Get out of
You'd
my
actually
seat.
you'd actually be surprised how often paranormal activity is contributed to military bases. So
Well, yeah, I mean, that's like, Stephen King, a lot of his, the myths and everything, that was all from urban legends around Loring Air Force Base.
The Mist is actually one of my favorite movies.
That movie messed me up.
The Mist?
I absolutely love that movie.
Yeah.
The Mist was one of my favorite horror movies. Don't diss that thing.
It messed me up, okay?
Nothing. Okay, actually, I will admit.
Get out of here, Phoenix.
The ending was sad, and that did mess us all up.
Yeah, the ending is what messed me up.
I love the remake. Was it the only movie? Was the one that we saw when we were in Idaho? I loved the graphics.
That messed me up.
Yeah, that ending though.
But with our possibly demon dog story out of the way, I'm actually finally out of talking points.
Wow.
Now, so before I decide to shut you guys down because I don't have anything else to talk about, how can people get in contact with you?
well, we have several different avenues. You can check us out on YouTube, One Candle Society. they can always get us through there with us, where they can check out our videos, leave comments. We always actually check all of our videos. If you ever leave a comment on it, we're actually pretty quick to reply on there if you ever have a question about them. You can check us out on Facebook, which is one like spelling out one ONE, then Candle Society, one word. And you can check us out on Facebook on there, where you can get up-to-date stuff on all of our videos that are coming out. You can hear a lot about what we're about to be doing and stuff like that. You can follow us on Twitter, which is the number one Candle Society. You can also follow us on Instagram, where we post a lot more of our intimate stuff, like our thoughts and our day-to-day stuff. The number one in Candle Society.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you. And thank you really for being on the show. And I'm really sorry about like having to postpone you guys, but had to deal with like Tom being a big giant baby and everything. But thank you guys for being on the show.
Oh, it's all right. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, we had such a blast, and we appreciate you for letting us come on and talk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I would love to have you guys back on again whenever you get your Black Eyed Children video up.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Anytime you want us to come on and talk, we are so down.
Well, actually, because we're actually really new to doing the YouTube thing, and I was just like, it would be interesting to have people that are ready to be on the show to do like live panel discussions. If people get, if somebody's like, hey, this is a weird phenomenon, what do you think about it, and do a live panel.
That'd be really neat.
Yeah. Any tune in us, we are at your disposal.
I mean, I will say, watching your guys' videos, you are a very informational team. You guys know what you're talking about. You do your homework, and that's really important, especially in this field.
Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah, all right. So, thank you for listening, everybody. Watching and tuning in with the show. Remember, same time next week, we will actually have on the gentleman known as Glider. His name is Adam Bonnet. He is a motivational speaker, and he's an idol of mine. He has a disability, but he doesn't let that get in the way of him investigating. And he will be on next week.
But Raven?
Yes.
Just remember, keep believing.
Because we'll keep listening.
Yes, and stay spooky, everybody. Have a good night.